friends. How are you today on this Tuesday? I wanted to pop in. So I am Jillian Leslie, for those of you who don't know me, and I am host of the Blogger Genius podcast. And I'm super excited to talk about my newest episode. It has done phenomenally well. You guys are really, really liking it. Let's see if I can add it. I will try and add it to a link. Of course, I'll do it after if I can't do it immediately, to the Facebook group, which is called the Become a Blogger Genius Facebook group. So if you're watching this somewhere else, please join the Facebook group. It's just Become a Blogger Genius Facebook group. I'd love to have you in there. So I wanted to talk about my newest podcast episode. So let's see. Okay, nope, that's not it. Ready? Yes, here we go. The best blog content tools you have never heard of. What is happening today is people are really leaning in to creating content that ranks in Google. I think that for the longest time, everybody was all about Pinterest and Pinterest driving traffic. And today, I'm going to drop a link. I think today, what people are realizing is the more consistent way to get traffic is to be using Google and Google search. So how do you do that? Well, you optimize your posts to rank highly in Google, for Google to see you as an authority, for Google to want to show your posts to people. And these are some tools that you can use to create content quickly and create content that will rank. So I want to take a step back. So in this podcast episode, and I put the podcast episode in my group, so definitely listen to this. I am interviewing my friend, Britt Raber, and she has a blog called Not Your Mom's Gift, but she's also a content expert. And she teaches people how to create content easily. And you can hire her to create your own blog content. Really, she has systems in place that she was able to share in the podcast episode that I think are really useful. So the first thing, remember, is we take a step back. I would say the key to having success with Google is intentionality. So it's before you create that piece of content, think about, what is this piece of content that I want to create that will solve a problem for my audience, that fits in with my niche to set me up as an expert, and I'm thinking about search intent. What is the person? What is the mindset, the mind frame of the person who's searching for this piece of content? Do they want a quick answer? And I can give them a quick answer. Do they want like a whole history? So think about how this person is coming, where they are in their lives, in their journey, when they would be consuming this piece of content. So then the next thing is, I recommend come up with some ideas for content, and you want it to be in your niche and long tail. And what I mean by that is you don't want to go after the big topics that you're never going to rank for. You want to go after the smaller topics so that you can build on those and really create expertise. You want to take a topic and you want to come at it from a whole variety of angles. And that way you could start to connect to this content, link it to itself, and really show Google over and over again, you know what you're talking about. So the first thing I would do is start to come up with a topic that you think is interesting, that you think your audience would help them, that you know something about. And the first thing I do is go to Google and Google it and see what is coming up. What are the blog posts that are showing up for this search, and look at the first 3 at least and say to yourself, how can I beat these posts? So a couple ways you can think about beating them is, maybe the posts are old. So just by creating a new post, maybe you could rank for that. 2, Are there gaps in these posts? So maybe there are questions that you could answer in the post. Maybe the post could be longer. Maybe it could have better photos. Maybe it could have a video. Maybe it could be better structured. Like you could have more headings so that somebody who comes to your content can just skim it, get to the answer they are looking for. Maybe you can add a table of contents. But I would first go to your competition and start there. Then there are some keyword research tools that you can use. So Britt is a big fan of a tool called Rank IQ. It's a paid tool, but it will say, hey, in your niche as a blogger, it's built for bloggers. It's somewhat expensive. However, it'll say, hey, as a blogger, you know what? Here are some topics you could blog about and probably rank for. And that's a really awesome way to kind of get a foothold in your niche, where again, you can start to build authority expertise. So the question is like, should you be in a variety of niches? And I would argue no, because to build authority in multiple niches is much harder than building it in one. And then people say to me, but what if I get bored of that topic? I say, if you are a business owner, if you want to grow a business, it's not you know what? Sorry. Guess what? You're going to write a ton of content around this niche. Hopefully it's something you enjoy. If not, think of this as a hobby blog rather than a business blog. But for a business blog today, really, you're going to become an expert in something incredibly narrow. And then if you gain expertise in that, you can broaden it. But I would not start broad. I would start really narrow. Okay. So some other tools that you can use. I like Ubersuggest as a keyword research tool. You can put your keywords in there. All you're doing is validating that working on this piece of content makes sense, that it will show you how many monthly visitors are searching for this keyword. And I would say start with keywords that are relatively small, maybe a couple hundred searches. And that way, again, if you can win these smaller keywords, you know what? A lot of small traffic adds up to bigger and bigger traffic. So then I personally would do something like Ubersuggest. There are some more paid tools, much more expensive paid tools like SEMrush, Ahrefs, but I wouldn't start there. I think you can get so much of this information for free just by being savvy with like Google. And in fact, if you scroll down, so let's say you type in the keyword you want to target, scroll down, and at the bottom of your Google search, it'll say like people also searching for, and these might be other related topics. See if you like those topics better, see if you can incorporate these topics into your blog post. Because Google's kind of saying these are related, like this is what people are looking for. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel, just serve that up to your audience. Okay, now here's something that Britt does that I think is really smart. She hires people to help her write content. She uses two strategies. One, she's using an AI tool called Jasper, where you can type in like what you want your blog post to be about. You give it some text and it is an AI and it will spew out content for you. Now, Google has just come out and said, we don't like AI text. So my recommendation, Britt's recommendation, is use it as a jumping off point, but make sure you take that AI text and rework it, because it could be pulling that from other blog posts. You don't know, but make sure it's in your voice and that you've changed it enough that you will not get dinged by Google for using it. However, it's incredibly helpful because it will start to get you kind of up the hill as you're creating content. Creating content is time consuming. It's a lot. So therefore, first, think about how to set yourself up for success. Like, please don't write content that you can't rank for, that nobody's searching for. So it's either too popular or not popular enough. Like, do some validating by checking to make sure people are interested. Think about, again, what is the frame of mind the person is in when they are searching for this, and use Google. Start seeing who the competitors are, what their posts look like, see if you could beat them, or if they're just too good, or the sites are just too big and there's no way you're going to win against like CNN. So scroll down to look at what those questions or other topics people are searching for and add those to your posts. So Brit, secret tool, Jasper. And there are other AI tools, but that's the one she uses. And the other thing she does is she hires people to help her write blog posts. You can actually hire people, and it's not very expensive. And she uses a site, I think, called Go Hire Me Now. There's also iWriter. I personally have hired people on Fiverr and Upwork to help me flesh out my blog content. I think she pays somebody something like 0.5 cents a word. I think you might more, I think she's got a great deal and she's got somebody really great working for her, but think about maybe 1 cent a word. So if your blog post is 1,000 words, that's $10 to help you write that blog post. And let's see if I have now talked about almost all the tools that, we mentioned in the podcast for writing content. But then, of course, you got Canva for creating images. Brit shares her strategy for her images. And then I have a free checklist. Let's see if I can find it. Here we go. Download my blog post checklist, because what I do is go through and give you a checklist on how to make sure you've optimized your post, all the stuff you need. So definitely go to milotree.com/blog post checklist and grab this free checklist and then print it out, put it on your desk. And when you are going through your posts, you could just make sure that you've thought of what everything you need for this. So definitely grab this Milotree blog post checklist. In fact, people have told me that they love it. They think it is incredibly useful. So my goal for going live and this podcast episode that I highly recommend you listen to is to help you not spin your wheels, to create content that gets you traffic and that is easy to create and fast, so you're not spending hours and hours doing this. One thing also that we talk about in the podcast episode that I cannot stress enough is thinking of your blog posts as sales pages, as part of your funnel. It's not just to create content, it is to create content with a call to action. So maybe your call to action is like maybe you monetize via traffic. So you want to have a lot of links in your post to get people to link onto other pieces of content that you've created. Maybe you want people to join your email list. So your call to action is maybe you offer some sort of free guide or more content or something to incentivize people to go get that opt-in and join your list. Maybe you have a product to sell, and so you're going to use that as a way to funnel people to your product. But again, like I was saying about being intentional in terms of the content you're creating or the keywords you're targeting for traffic, be very intentional about how this blog post fits in with your business. So it's not just content to create content. It's not going, oh my God, I don't have my blog post for this week. It's not about that. It is about having a blog post for the week, let's say, that does something to grow your business. That's always like this idea of having this kind of meta plan that you've put in place so that okay, I've got like 4 or 5, maybe 3 different things I want people to do. In a blog post, really focus on one. You want to be asking for everything. I don't recommend it. I recommend you have a very strong call to action. You could repeat that same call to action in your blog post, but really instead of offering so much and asking your audience to do a bunch, a lot of times it paralyzes them and they won't do anything. So really think about this. So I feel like as I'm talking, my main takeaway is to think through the content you're creating and what it's for and how to optimize it so it provides for you what you're looking for, which I think is traffic. And then that traffic can be sent in a variety of directions. So that is what I wanted to share. If you are not subscribed to the Blogger Genius podcast, please check it out. And I've added a link to the podcast so you can listen to it. And then I wanted to just briefly talk about what we're building with MiloTree Easy Payments to give you an update. In fact, you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to go live once a week, not just to talk about the podcast, but also then to give like an update on what we're building with MiloTree Easy Payments. MiloTree Easy Payments is for content creators like you to monetize your audience. So if you have an audience, whether that be an email list, whether that be blog traffic, whether that be on social media, there is money to be had in your audience by selling digital goods directly to them. So what do I mean by that? I mean, my easiest one that I'm helping people set up right now are paid workshops. And I'm working on, if you can see where are my notes, I'm working on putting together like an entire kind of day by day calendar, 14 days to set up, sell, and host your paid workshop. Like do this on day one, do this on day two. Because I have seen so much success from the creators that I've been working with to help them do this. So it is like low tech, it's super easy to set up, and I offer free sales pages and free email templates so that all you have to do is just follow this and boom, you've got a way to monetize what you know. Another way that you can monetize with MiloTree Easy Payments is setting up a membership. A lot of times what people are doing is setting up a workshop and then funneling. Remember, it's kind of like what I was talking about with blog posts, funneling people where you want them to go. So people have been setting up workshops and then funneling them into memberships, which is super exciting. We also enable you to set up one-on-one coaching calls with people, or where you like dig in and work with people. And we also enable you to sell digital goods. So these are the things, like all I want to do is empower content creators to sell to their audiences so that they can make money, so they can monetize. Because a lot of times people are building audiences, they've got a huge following on Instagram, but they're not doing anything with them. And I've said this multiple times, if you have a big audience on Instagram, but you're not figuring out strategically how to monetize that audience, it's not worth much to you. Money doesn't like fly through the windows once you hit 10,000 followers or 20,000 followers or 100,000 followers. It's really about thinking this through. So if you want to set up, say, a paid workshop or a membership, I would love to help you personally. Why? Because I'm kicking the tires of my own product. I'm learning from my customers, and that is what's in it for me, which is super cool and exciting. So if that's interesting to you, just message me on Facebook, DM me on Instagram at MiloTree. You can email me at Jillian@milotree.com, but I want to take on a couple more people as I'm learning, and we're building out some really cool stuff. But this is the easiest way for creators to make money. Truly, I'm so delighted when it works and people are actually going, oh my God, I didn't know I could make $450 doing this. I'm going to do it again. So that's what I wanted to share today. I hope you listen to this episode. And if there are tools that you're using that I don't know about, please let me know. Put it as a comment in the Facebook group or on Instagram or whatever, because I want to know what the best tools are that you're using to create content, like what is working for you, because I would love to share it with our community. So I want to wish you a very happy Tuesday, and I'm going to try and pop in on Friday to do an update on MiloTree Easy Payments. All right, I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.